Well, welcome back, Kittitas Valley Sports Talk fans, episode 17. I'm here. I'm Eric Sorensen with John Goudat, Luke Olson. Who's our 17th episode this week?
17th episode in Big Country Studios.
Yeah, we're getting big time here, guys. What's our? We just had it in my mind, and I spaced it. Who's our Mitch Haniger episode?
Yeah,
Mitch Haniger,
jersey
number 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're wearing all Mariners gear today.
I got my Edgar Martinez Hall of Fame shirt. I brought it on. My Mariners hat. Part of the reason was wife and I did some clean out this weekend, and Paige found this shirt still in the bag and said, "You really needed to have that one, didn't you?" I said, I did. It's the Edgar Martinez Hall of Fame, and so I had to wear it. So she saw it was on the podcast.
Yeah. So I wasn't there, but I could hear the tone of her voice in your recollection there. So
yeah, well,
that's never happened to my house.
We cleaned out. We have a problem with holding on to clothes and stuff, and we had a good clean out, start the new year off fresh. So. Speaking of that, did you guys have a good New Year's? I heard there was a pretty good concert somewhere.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it a concert, but I will give credence, give some truth to the rumor that that Luke and I might have rang in the new year singing "Don't Stop Believin'" by Journey on the karaoke machine.
Yeah. I requested that song all night, and it finally came.
Yeah, as you were walking out, and then
so
we had to do it. We had to give the fans what they want.
100%.
And the fans wanted to see John and Luke on stage.
I know. I'm bummed I missed it.
Of course, that was before. I want to say about an hour before I had. If I can toot my own horn, I really brought down the house with Def Leppard's "Pour Some Sugar on Me."
You opened up. That was the first song, right?
I believe so.
You opened it and then closed it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Not the talent, or
you're behind the wrong microphone right now.
I'm behind the wrong microphone.
We could record, John. This could be the future.
You know what? There is a possibility, and I have texted your better half, Luke Willow. I said, I think I saw you videoing us.
She did.
And I will also admit that Luke has got the voice of angels, whereas I went more with the everybody knows that song "Don't Stop Believin'."
Right.
So I kind of gave more of an opinion piece, my commentary on it. When just a small town girl, and so I would give my opinion, like maybe she's from Kittitas. Luke started singing again. She's living in a lonely world. Maybe she needs friends. That's what I would say. So,
well, I did hear from and I think this is the Step Brothers quote that Luke's voice I heard is a combination of Jesus and Fergie.
Ooh,
so, I think that's pretty darn good there.
Yes.
So
it's a great line, and it's totally true.
So when we have our next, ad recorded for Fitterers, Luke can be our singer of that ad.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. And thanks again, Fitterers Furniture. Big news, they re-upped with us for another year. And
thank you, Fitterers.
Thank you. Quality furniture since 1896. Head down there, tell them thank you. Try to go buy something from them. Tell them Kittitas Valley Sports Talk sent you. Right now, there's a store-wide clearance sale up to 60% off on a variety of marked-down items in the store.
Sounds good to me.
Heck yeah. Well,
wait. You also rang in the new year with a few fireworks, I believe.
We did.
Yeah,
we had a good little
Sea
show.
Lions Road is that battlefield survived your war of fireworks.
It did. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had a rain delay because it sucked on New Year's Eve weather-wise. But hopefully, maybe these guys will sponsor us too. The My Radar Pro app is one I use coaching baseball, and it saved my butt a few times when we needed to get the game in, and they were about to cancel it. And I said, "Well, look at this little cloud's about to leave," and I happened to pull it up. Sure enough, rain stopped, ran outside, blew things up for about 25, 30 minutes, and it started raining as soon as we finished. So it worked out good. I think we had a little bit of sports and national talk. I mean, what if it was kind of a fun weekend? I feel like today's Monday. We're recording on Thursday, right?
Yep, Thursday.
The 2nd. But, we had a big weekend of football. Unfortunately, the Seahawks lost. But how much fun was that seeing Marshawn Lynch on the field?
It was cool.
It was pretty cool. And the biggest thing about the touchdown, as soon as he crossed the plane on his touchdown, I was looking not at the scrum of guys. I was looking out at the perimeter, and yes, it took about 5 seconds before I saw Skittles
on the
field.
I saw they showed the crew picking him up off the ground after he scored.
Yeah.
I don't understand how we got delayed. We weren't even broke the huddle in that delay game. Russell was still calling the play.
3 seconds left, and they were still in the huddle. Yeah.
I mean, I understand. We had a guy comment on our Facebook about the guy was hurt, and they were trying to make room for him, but
still,
I don't.
Pete said when a team spikes, it almost feels like a timeout because they're stopping the clock. And they kind of got relaxed. He says they didn't, but I think they did. And
So, I am well past my playing days, as you guys have said. I'm more of a musician now with my voice, but so I hate to say this as an armchair quarterback, but let's harken back to an old podcast we did with former Wazoo quarterback Alex Brink, and I remember I asked him in you're on the goal line, huge play, season kind of changing play. How nervous do you get? And he goes, when you practice every single day for your entire life for that, and you go over it over and over again with personnel that it's kind of, he didn't say it was easy, but he goes, you're so prepared, you don't allow yourself to get caught up in it. And it seems like on the flip side, we got caught up in it. I say the Seahawks got caught up in it. And, you don't like a loss, but I'm more upset about we're on the half-yard line, and all of a sudden we were on the 6-yard line, and that really is frustrating.
It was our redemption. Why Marshawn said he had unfinished business.
Yeah.
But also, he didn't have his helmet on the sideline. When they showed him, he was just kind of kicked back, hanging out. But I understand he wasn't in the 2-minute offense.
That could have been something that he should have been ready.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that because...
True that.
Yeah, but...
He hasn't lost much. He still runs hard, and he can pack a punch.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. The other game, I think you were at a basketball game, but how fun was the Clemson Ohio State game? Did you guys get to watch that?
I did. Saw the last quarter.
That was all you needed to watch.
I didn't get to see it, but I had it on my app, and I was kind of watching, live stats updated. That would have been a good one. That was definitely, people got their money's worth on that one.
Oh, man. Because the other one was a blowout. Luckily, it was a blowout because I snuck off and watched the cross-county rivalry game that we are going to talk about later.
Yeah.
But the Timothy Cups revived, and who you got winning, LSU or Clemson?
LSU just kind of destroyed them. I kind of feel bad for Oklahoma because everybody says, why do we let them in the playoff every year and they get blown out? But, of course, they're still one of the best teams in the country. They just don't have good success in the CFP playoff.
Yeah. Probably LSU. I'd say so. Yeah. It won't affect my day. Whoever wins, but
I think that's a great setup, though. Yeah. I'm going to go with LSU as well.
I think it's going to be a fun game. That'll be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, I've been rooting for Coach O this whole time, but it's hard to root against Dabo Swinney. He seems like a very genuine, good person.
Yeah.
And he is pumped. And usually when dynasty teams, you kind of get over people or them winning all the time. But they've built it from scratch. I mean, who heard of Clemson before Dabo's time?
Been a while since they have been relevant.
Yeah.
Willa didn't even know they were a school.
Right?
Really?
Yeah.
That just proves my point.
She's like, who? I don't even know who they are.
Wow.
Where are you from?
They're a university.
Yeah. They got books and everything.
But that means she's paying attention to you, Luke.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's true.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next segment here. We're going to take a short pause. At midnight's over, end of a century. We have a lot that's happened, especially in the last few years in this valley. We're going to cover some of the highlights that we've been sitting here brainstorming very hard. We've been working very hard, racking our brains.
Looking forward to it.
And we'll be right back after this message. Valley Sports Talk fans, we're back. And we just wrapped up a heck of a 10 years of sports in this valley.
That's right.
I wish we would have been podcasting this whole time because we'd have some great stories to come up with. For you YouTubers watching us, we got you can't see it, but on our board over there, we got a list of things. We've been sitting here. I felt like a teacher writing everything down. It was nice.
Right.
Fun reliving some of the moments. We have written down, and I'm sure that we forgot somebody. We've probably forgotten a team along the way.
We can't remember them all.
No.
A team or an individual. I got some on my phone too. Yeah.
The first part of these 10 years, I was still in college. I don't remember much from it. So other than that great degree, it's sitting over there on the wall.
That's right.
So let's go through. What do you guys want to start? Teams or turn moments? Let's do teams.
Okay.
Teams.
Okay. Some of the ones we have written down in no order specifically. We're going to save those first two for the last because that was pretty big.
How about all those softball success?
Yeah. Ellensburg girls softball. Second in state last 2 years ago, last year?
2018, and they got third in 2017. But last 10 years, they've made it the last 9 out of 10 years. They just missed it last season.
Yeah.
First time.
9 years in a row. That's amazing.
So they have been the top 16 teams in the state year after year after year.
If not further.
Yeah.
Except 1 year.
That's amazing.
That shows.
And I believe Scott Gant, I'm not sure how long he's been there, but
Before Sky was Kopczynski.
Dave. Yeah.
And
he had the first part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the year in and year out. They are a factor at the definitely at the SUAC level, but clearly at the state level as well.
Yeah. Been a heck of a run.
Yep.
The next one we wrote down is Cleon softball. They've made it to the state tournament in the 1A 7 out of 10 years also.
It's pretty darn good.
It's a pretty, and then you also throw in the Kittitas softball team, who's been that's been 14 years in a row, or 13, I think. But this decade, they were 10 years.
Yep.
Solid. Last year, they made it to the semifinal game. And I think this goes to show, and we can't, talking about those teams, and I can't remember who posted on our Facebook when I put the post out about this, and talking about the youth programs, and you see what they're feeding.
Yep.
And our youth programs are winning because our softball teams, the 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, and 12-year-olds are all been going to the Babe Ruth World Series. And look at the product of it. And that's pretty awesome to see. You're seeing these things paying off along the way.
Well, and so I have personal history with that, or I guess I should say my youngest, Adeline, who is now 12, and she'll be playing 7th grade softball for Kittitas here this spring, here in a couple of months. But we were part of an all-star program, and one, it's fun from a camaraderie standpoint, but you're playing with girls. I mean, a mix of Cleveland Ellensburg and Kittitas girls, and you're thinking, wow, I can see some good talent that is just going to get better. So as a parent, I try not to live vicariously through my kids, but it's really fun to see that growth and that potential, and then, of course, to see it take shape in high school.
Yeah. And that's kind of what you're doing at a young age. You're building these kids up to go play for their high school programs. The natural step of things. And I'd say it's a pretty dominant decade of softball in this valley. And it's been going on long before that, but we're not talking about long before that. We're talking about now. So let's move on to some baseball on here. Actually, let's talk about the 2019 Ellensburg cross country team. I know they've had multiple successful teams in the past, but that's the most recent to mind, and both the men's and women's.
Yeah.
Women winning it all. I even think that state race maybe made Luke a fan of cross country.
It did.
100%.
Yeah. Just the whole season. It was pretty fun. Yeah.
That entire season, but kind of like what Coach Hashimoto said in a podcast about a month ago now. Right. Just, you could see it building year after year after year, and girls winning it all. We'll talk about some individual champions here in a second, but the boys placing third. Just a really dominant program, not just a team, but a program year after year.
Oh, there's a lot of hard work putting into that. And let's go on to some other teams we have written down up there. Okay, I guess I'm kind of biased this one because I'm the head coach of it, but Kittitas baseball. This decade was started by Merle Watkins. He was a Hall of Fame baseball coach. He is a Hall of Famer, which could be a top moment for this last decade, but we should write that down. So Coach Watkins, Hall of Famer, we'll add that to the list. But 7 out of the last 10 years, we've made it to the final 16 teams. A couple times we made it to the second round, the 8, and then lost to DeSales in Walla Walla while they were still in their prime.
Oh,
it was bad. It was bad. There were some questionable calls along the way.
You can say that now.
Yeah. I can say it now. And their dominance is over with. I mean, they're still decent, but
can we talk about some positive things we were talking about in the break?
Yes.
One of those state teams. The floor is yours, Coach. But
so our guest here, after we're done talking about this segment, Jadon Meador, Kittitas Alumni, is at Corban Community College, their 4-year college or NAI. And he was in 8th grade. It was his freshman year of this team. We had to bring up. He played as an 8th grader. And then his freshman season, we brought up more 8th graders. I believe we had at least 4 or 5 8th graders on that team, and the majority of them played. And it turned out it was the coolest moment. Districts up at Wenatchee Valley Community College would beat White Swan. The coach before the game was saying, "Man, it's been a long time since we've been to the state tournament," and talking about how they're going to get to go to the state tournament.
Right.
And I can still see W's look when he came back to the dugout, like, this guy.
Yeah.
But the last out made to an 8th grader, Chance Alaman. Maybe he wasn't an 8th grader, but he made the last out. The youngest team in Washington State history to ever qualify for a state tournament.
And that team name is?
Kittitas Coyote.
There you go.
That's right, baby.
Wow.
That was a lot of fun.
I still remember that. Yep.
pretty special moment. That was pretty awesome. Am I missing the other two? I mean, the two most on that. There are a lot of people comment on the Facebook about these two, and it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Ellensburg baseball, 3 state titles in the last 10 years.
Yep.
Then 3 out of 4, right? Or 3 out of 5.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 5 years they won 3. Yep.
They've been to the state tournament 7 out of 10 years as well, and
they're in the conversation every year.
Always. It's a heck of a program being built.
Yeah. That 3 state titles, and then that continued rivalry. It seems like the state title goes through Ellensburg or Sela,
who won the last
year.
Yep. The last 5 years have been Ellensburg or Sela winning the state championship game.
Yeah.
So that's just amazing to me. And I'm not going to read the text, but I asked Coach Gibson just a little bit ago, out of those 3 teams, which one was your best team? And his comment was if they each played a 7-game series, I guess it would have to be a 6-game series because of even numbers, but they would tie. Each team has certain different greatness to it, and why each one was differently great. And he thinks it'd be fun. It'd be fun watching them battle it out. And
that would be cool.
See how they could do that.
Yeah.
And then the other team that we had written down was Kittitas basketball, 3-time state champions, not just 3 times, but 3 in a row.
3 in a row. Yep.
And what a. I mean, I was talking to Luke before this podcast started, and we're not done talking about Kittitas basketball, but before this, I mean, we've always been kind of successful, and teams have always been good in state tournaments, but I don't think Luke and Ryan Kuhn realize what they're actually getting to cover, because the state championships all packed together in 5 years hasn't been a really consistent thing.
Yeah, it's you talk about like Luke and Ryan Kuhn, sports writers, sports editors, I should say.
Yeah.
But even as a fan, I mean, just looking back, just what a privilege it is to see that state championship in Yakima or state championship in Spokane. I mean, I don't know if that's once in a lifetime, definitely once in a generation, maybe.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kittitas has a lot of changeover this year. Still has some success, and Ellensburg, again, they didn't win it last year, but they were a factor again. So hopefully, that's just continued success. Success breeds success.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
In that Kittitas team, you can't forget the players they had, and those dudes were dedicated to their basketball. And
yep.
They worked hard, and even Caleb Harris is he's redshirting in Spokane right now, but there's some good players along the line, and that rolls us right into top moments for the year because of Brock Rivet. He was the leading scorer in that team. He was the Washington State leading scorer.
That's right. He scored 3,100 points in his 4-year career. I still remember, you and I were both there when he broke Lance Zenbor's record of
I was there too.
State, what's that?
I was there too.
Yeah, you were at that game too. So all 3 of us were there.
I snuck in late.
I got the
not
actually,
relevant.
You announced it.
Yeah,
I
you did.
remember. So the District 5 rep, his name is escaping me, but Tri-Cities prep guy.
Oh, Dan.
Called said, "Hey, would you want to announce this game? Because I announced the Kittitas games here at home, and I thought, I mean, what an opportunity! I was kind of honored by the call, and of course, I didn't even hesitate. I was like,
yes,
heck yes, was the edited version of what I said, and still remember it. It's pinned on your Twitter still of Brock hitting that basket. Which was the most acrobatic catch layup. I think the pass was from Bailey.
Yeah, Brock was basically behind the hoop. And he reversed it.
Yeah,
but
a nifty up and under, as I would call it when I'm PA announcing.
Absolutely.
That was it.
Definitely a top moment. And that was for the decade.
For the decade, yeah.
Yeah.
And I should have brushed it to that last, but
maybe ever in the county for sure.
It was a good one. It was a big one.
Sidebar.
Yeah,
I was at both of the last 2 times someone broke that record, because Denbor, it was either a couple thousand point, but he broke that record against us when I was in high school.
Really.
And then that's the main reason I made that drive, because I drove with one arm. I just had surgery. I'm like, I'm gotta go see that record break when he did it again. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? Really quick, and this is definitely not part of the decade, because I'm going to be talking about ladies who have moved on and graduated and everything like that before 2010. But when we talk about Brock Rivet being the state's leading scorer, obviously he's the Valley's leading scorer as well. But on the women's side, the top 3 scorers right now, and I can thank Jeff's Place for this. Jeff Place and his
check him out.
Incredible work that he does. But I was noticing on one of his many posts that I read, the top 3 scorers are Christina Burketta, Kittitas, Katie Hart, Kittitas, Kayla Standish, Ellensburg.
Wow.
Which and they're all over 2,000 points, and so the top 4 scorers, 1 for the men and 3 for the women, are all Kittitas Valley players. Obviously, all of them are college elite players as well. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That could be a top moment is Kayla playing at Gonzaga. Having she's playing.
Got drafted by Minnesota.
Right.
Now she's playing in Australia.
Currently, she's not playing because she just had her child.
First child. Yeah,
congratulations to her.
Which is probably a big moment for the Standish clan in the decade.
I saw Grandpa Dave.
Yep.
At the Santa Hoops Classic, and he was just as nervous watching his other grandkids as he was when he was watching her play. That was pretty awesome.
Cool. What are some other moments? Other individuals?
Let's go start at the bottom there. That this year, she got close to beating it, but Grace Terrell, number 2 scoring goal leader in the state of Washington,
all time
soccer.
Yeah,
and you saw a few of her games. She's pretty dang talented.
Yeah, geez, one game I went, she at least had 5-6 goals. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So
she's on her way to Eastern.
Yeah, she'll do well there.
Yeah.
I think she was just a couple short. But
yep.
If they would have maybe made it a little deeper in state, she had a shot at it. But I knew they were kind of keeping tabs on the last month or so. And it happened to be that the girl that was ahead of her was somebody that babysat Grace.
Oh, no way.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, what a link.
So
that's awesome.
Pretty unique experience.
That is cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. The next one up, we're going to save the last because I feel like that's a
big one.
That's a huge one. We talked about Brock there. Tia and Mario.
Yeah,
father-son.
Father-daughter.
I'm sorry, father-daughter. It's been a long day.
Yeah, Tia and I was obviously one of the best volleyball players out of Ellensburg.
Definitely.
And it just happened to be, she went on to go play for Gonzaga, and it happened to be her first collegiate match was against her father's team, Mario.
Yeah.
And I went down went up to Spokane, and so did our photographer, and that was one of our top 5 moments for the daily record. And I thought that was just kind of it's a really cool experience that they got to share on the court.
Right.
But
I wonder what that'd be like to coach against your kid.
That'd be.
I mean, it'd be cool to coach with your kid, but what?
Yeah.
I mean,
do you give the true scouting report, or do you be dad?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Or do they not talk to each other?
Right.
Do you remember that? I mean, do they keep it pretty family oriented rather than volleyball oriented leading up to the match?
They didn't. I guess they kind of poked fun at each other that week. But it was just like any other game. It felt like she said she was nervous at first, but once she got going, she was.
What an opportunity!
But I could see Mario at times smiling, or she racked up like 20 assists against.
Jeez.
And they beat Central 3-0. I mean, Division I team, but yeah, it was really, really cool.
That is cool.
But that was a moment he'll never forget.
Yeah.
Who's next up on that list? Leah Holmgren, cross country state title this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I like about Leah and her success was it seems like the target was on her back the entire year. I mean, she seemed to be that and maybe the Bellingham girl.
Yeah.
But it seemed like her name kept on coming on top as the person to beat, and to not crumble under those expectations and help you lead your team to state with the state title of your own. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's quite a year.
Who's next on that list? Up top.
Catherine Crimp. That is really. I always was kind of fascinated just how well she improved after one season, because just as a junior she only shot in the 70s one time, and it was like a 79. And then her senior season she shoots every round in the 70s, and she was mid-low 70s every round pretty much. And her best round of the season happened to be her last, and it won her a state title over at Meadowwood Golf Course in Spokane. And I went over there for that after based off how she did the first day I was going to go. I was thinking if she was within a couple strokes I would go, and she was just one behind the leaders, and she played really well. She's got a really good short game, and I think she's doing pretty well at St. Martin's now.
That's where she's playing at.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Is her short game better than yours?
Oh,
I think so right now because she's playing all the time.
I don't know. It's kind of
We'll find out next week because I'm going to Arizona to play. So
that's right.
Really?
yeah.
All right.
A few days. So
I think cool invite, bro.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Sorry.
yeah, I think she was the first one to win the state individual title in Ellensburg history.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to
Yep.
watch her play.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll round up these top moments that we were able to come up with this year and think about.
Well, you got one more.
Yeah, we're rounding up with him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he's
okay.
we're wrapping it up. No, I appreciate it because usually I forget that. Junior lead guard, Ellensburg baseball player. The first state title that Ellensburg won. I remember being there in attendance at County Stadium in Yakima. Beautiful day. I can't remember who they played. I guess there was a little bit more. He was, it was a neat moment because unfortunately that year he lost his dad in the middle of the season, and then he goes in the state championship game, throws a complete game shutout, and hits, I believe, a solo home run, and they win 1-0.
It's pretty impressive.
That's Hollywood movie stuff right there.
Yeah, that you couldn't write it any better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really couldn't.
No.
So he's the offense and the defense.
Yeah, wins that.
I mean, with his team, of course.
Everybody. He had got 8 other guys playing defense behind him, but
Yeah.
I remember watching him that day and just thinking, "Holy crap! I mean, this guy's on today."
Right.
And it was a lot of fun to watch. And,
Yeah.
and I, in my opinion, if I was voting, that'd be my number one. The top moments of 2000, this decade, 2010 and 2019.
Yeah.
Pretty good one. I know we've focused mostly on high schools, and it's warranted.
It's been a lot.
Going up on campus, going up the University Way, north of University Way there, and I know the CW football team has had a handful of GNAC titles. Making the national tournament
2017
in 2017 here this decade, and getting tripped up. Of course, if you're going to lose, they lost to the eventual national champion in Texas A&M Commerce. I still remember that game, and maybe, I know it will be going into 2020, but maybe we can add the CW women's basketball team to the mix on this one. They're 7-4 on the season, I think it is, and GNAC play starts back up again today. It's Thursday the 2nd, and
right.
So I've been. Maybe it's not as monumental as some of the teams and scenarios we've been talking about, but the progression of the improvement of the CW women's basketball team is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Where they were really not a factor, and now they were picked to win the GNAC this year. So hopefully, the Wildcats can prove the prognosticators correct.
That's right.
So
yeah, that was a good area, or I guess Central basketball.
Yeah,
it was there for quite a while, and I think it's rebuilding things back. And
Yep.
Central baseball won its first GNAC title throughout this decade. I can't remember the year right now.
that's right.
It was probably after I played, so it's probably like 15.
It was after you played, but clearly it was the foundation. That
We
you
built the foundation.
Yep.
That's
Of course.
probably true. Well, that's the top moments we have written down. 10 years from now, what's the new story is going to be? It's the second day of the new year. There's lots of story to be written in our lives in the next year to 10 years. And my one prediction, I got a bold one.
Okay.
Hopefully the podcast is still going in 10 years. By that point in time, he's probably going to be sitting on ESPN.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Mr. Yeah.
With
Wilson will be.
And our guest call-in once a month will be from ESPN reporter.
Better do it. Don't forget the little people. Luke.
Don't
Yeah, that's right.
screw it up.
I might have a big podcast someday, and you guys will have to be guests.
Dang right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's in
It'll probably be-
April, as long as it's in Arizona during spring training, I'll make that.
You
trip.
guys foot the bill. I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm there.
yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for this segment. We'll be back with a quick scoreboard from our sponsors, Fitters Furniture. We're not going to do the scoreboard quite yet, guys. We're going to do our guest.
That's right.
We're going to do our guest next. We got Jadon Meador, Kittitas. We kind of already introduced him again. Currently at Corban University playing. We're about to start his senior year. And our guest is brought to you by Fitters Furniture. And we'll be right back with a really fun interview. All right, Kittitas Valley Sports Talk fans. We are back with our guest of the week, brought to you by Fitters Furniture, quality furniture since 1896. Today's guest, a guy I know well.
Yes, you
I've
do.
known him since he was in 8th grade playing on the high school varsity baseball team. Jadon Meador, Kittitas Alumni, current Corban Warrior. Jadon, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So we understand you're driving right now. Good thing you're on Bluetooth, hands-free, and I'm assuming I heard you're lost, but hopefully you find your way, and we're here to help guide you.
Yeah.
So way to call him out on the podcast. We're 30 seconds into it, Jadon, and we've already chopped you down once.
Well, we do got to congratulate you. You recently engaged, and congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you're currently going into your senior season at Corban, but let's start when you were at Kittitas. Kind of walk us through your Kittitas career. And I know we were lucky enough to have you as an 8th grader, and you played all 5 years for us. And talk about your time at Kittitas.
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember it's crazy because, like you said, in 8th grade, I got a call, or my dad got a call from Coach Merle Watkins. And it's crazy because I still remember we were like playing a game of Risk on the ground. Like I remember the scene and everything when my dad was like, Coach Watkins wants to talk to you. And I was super excited. It's crazy how like I remember specifically like where I was, what I was doing, everything like that. Because it was a big moment. And it was an honor to like be called up to ask, be called up to, play. And so it was just so much fun. It was cool. Get to know like upperclassmen and everything, and getting some playing time and everything. But yeah, I was playing 8th grade, freshman year, sophomore. It was cool to just be part of that Kittitas community. It's a small school, obviously, and playing different sports. Everyone's playing different sports, and get to know a lot of people. And yeah, it was great. It was a great time. I learned so much under Coach Watkins, and then you, Coach Sorensen.
Nice.
It was really cool. And honestly, like, the smaller town type, the community actually helped me a lot, even going into Corban and going into college, and learning like the necessities of community and unity and stuff like that. But yeah, it was great time in Kittitas. I love it. I wouldn't take it back.
So I got a question for you. Your memories are very excited in terms of just the opportunity you were talking about, and then just being a part of the community. But at 8th grade, it's hard enough getting into a high school program as a 9th grader. But at 8th grade, were you intimidated by, sophomores, juniors, seniors, or was it one of those things where you were just excited about the opportunity no matter how old you were?
Totally. It was a lot of both. I was definitely intimidated. Even going into like freshman year, I was intimidated. Everyone was so big, seemed like, and looked big. And I looked up to all those guys coming in as an 8th grader. But also I was just so excited. I always remember, even like right now, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but part of my like pre-pitch routine when I'm on the mound is, or if I'm getting into trouble and I need to like slow myself down, I literally just say to myself, play like a kid. And that kind of brings it down to simplicity. And that's what I felt going into my 8th grade year on the high school team, was just playing, because I had so much fun playing. And when I, complicate things and everything, it just makes it so much like anxiety ridden and tense and everything, and just playing like a kid. And so I kind of go back to that 8th grade year and even when I first started playing baseball. Just playing, having fun. And that's what it was. So I was intimidated for sure. But it was really cool I loved it. I still do.
Is there any guys you still stay in touch with from that team, those teams, those 4 years, 4 or 5 years?
Oh yeah. Eli Eilers, one of my best friends. We're good friends. We always joke about times on the team and when we'd go into hotels and just mess around. And of course, Coach Sorensen, you don't know anything about that.
It's funny how the stories come out a few years later.
What I wanted to talk about, obviously we're already going off the timeline. We were talking about high school, and then you were talking about just kind of how you apply some of those lessons to college. But so I'll keep off the timeline. You had said, you have to remind yourself to play like a kid. It helps get over anxiety. Is that something that, as an upperclassman now in the college level, have you kind of shared those tactics in terms of, hey, this is what works for me during game or during preparation, and when you can see other guys struggling or looking to improve themselves?
Yeah, for sure. We kind of as a pitching staff, because I'm a PO, I only pitch there, but as a staff, we do just kind of have these meetings, and they're like just mental training, going over like what's bouncing off our routines off of each other, and we kind of share our little nuggets of success, what works for us, and of course every player is individual, and every player, something else works better for them. But yeah, it definitely I've talked a lot about that with some of the younger guys, and they seem to like feed off of that well. Like they kind of put a twist to their own what works for them, but they take it well, and it's really cool to see. And even for like even younger guys, like I'm an upper class and I'm going to graduate this year, but even hearing some of like what the younger guys have to say, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can use that as part of my routine or use a twist of that. So it's been really good to just grow each other in that way. There's not a lot of what do you call it, just like upperclassmen and underclassmen division. We're pretty integrated, and it's really cool to see that. And I think I see that even in Kittitas, like when I was playing in high school, and I feel like for me, I kind of took that into Corban and wanting to help that culture grow. And maybe I did helping a little bit with that, but for me, I didn't want to see division in that at Corban. So I saw a lot of that. And, I saw how that helped in high school and everything. It was really cool. So I hope that answers your question, kind of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So talk about what was your decision? You graduated from Kittitas, and what made you decide to choose to go to Corban?
Yeah, so I was looking for a lot of things in a college, and one of the biggest things was a smaller school. Because I was at Kittitas, and it was a smaller school, and I really loved how I was really good friends with teachers. We had good relationships, and the teachers wanted the best for their students at Kittitas, and I saw that, and I recognized that, and I wanted that in a college. So that was one of the biggest things, was a small school. I was also looking at a private school, a private Christian school. I was wanting that, and then obviously baseball. I wanted the opportunity to play in the collegiate level, and I didn't want something super close to home, but not also really far. And so I came across Corban, which is about everything. It was a perfect fit. It was a small Christian school. I was blessed the opportunity to have a scholarship there to play baseball. The coach at the time, just wonderful, great guy, great coach, and it was cool to have that opportunity to play. So, and it's not too close to home, but it's not too far either. Just in Salem, so
that's perfect. And far enough away that the parents can't just show up at their front door.
Exactly.
You have to give me a call
unless they're bringing money or laundry services.
That's right.
Yeah. I always bring my laundry home. My mom will do it. She's wonderful.
A little side note: his mom is an amazing cook. She cooked some mean team dinners.
Really?
During his time there, it was pretty awesome.
So, are you saying you miss the team dinners over a quality athlete?
I miss both.
Jade? Okay. What was the biggest?
Of course.
What was the biggest as a freshman there? What was the biggest aha moment? Like the biggest difference between high school ball and college ball?
Definitely the pace of play. Everything was so much faster, and that hit me quick too in fall ball. Just our first scrimmage, me pitching. It was just everything was quick. Everyone just throws, running, just plays. How plays developed. It was crazy, but also it was kind of fun at the same time. I realized how quick it was, and I just I want this. This is awesome. This is cool. And I failed a lot. I still do. But it's cool to try to match, try to, how do I say, when I was a freshman, learning that and trying to match that and up that, I guess.
Keep growing with
so
the
that
game.
Was, yeah, definitely.
What was the biggest thing that you had to change in at least in your game to, you talk about the pace of play. Obviously, talent is going to be different. What was the biggest thing that you figured, I got to make this better?
I would say my mental. my mental game for sure. Because, I mean, at Kittitas, the talent, like the competition and stuff that we played wasn't like, it was a lot easier for me to go off of like physical ability and things like that. But then going to Corban, where, I mean, every hitter 1 through 9 is good. And being able to go off of just physical ability or whatever, that only lasts for a little bit. But the mentality and the way I go about that and my mental game is what's going to last. And so I quickly realized that. And I'm still trying to hone in the mental game because I struggle with that some. But I'd say that was the biggest thing for sure.
Have you switched much? I mean, mechanically, or I mean, have you added any new pitches, or what have you changed since high school?
Yeah, I physically I have changed. So I throw like pretty much sidearm. I don't throw submarine. I don't touch the ground with my hand when I throw, but sidearm. And I've seen a lot of success with that. I switched. Let's see, the end of my sophomore year at Corban. Dropped my arm angle, and I see a lot more run on my ball, runs into righties, and then the implementation of my slider, which goes the other way, away from righties. I've seen a lot more success with that. I don't throw that as hard. I don't throw that hard, but it's crazy to see just like the little bit of movement or that extra movement. I've seen a lot more success with that. It's fun too. I love the challenge of changing it up and learning new things.
What was really the reason? Did someone kind of advise you, or?
So it's kind of funny how I was throwing a bullpen, and like right before I was joking around with my pitching coach, and I was like, check out my new pitching motion. And so I did like a submarine, like completely just like messing around. And I was kind of laughing, and he was kind of laughing too. And he's like, well, it's like, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
He was like, our coaching staff just talked about maybe like seeing if you could throw a sidearm or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's funny. That's really funny, you know. And I throw my bullpen, and then my pitching coach is like, hey, Cope was serious. I actually kind of want to see, we think you're a guy who's like athletic enough who might be able to make that transition and can do that and might have some run in the ball or whatever. And so I just like throw 2 pitches and we won't talk about the rest of the season. This was like in April, so we had a month left, I think. And so I throw a pitch, a fastball and whatever, and throw another one. And then my coach was like, throw another one. So I throw another one, and then he's like, just throw a slider. And I was like, I don't know how to throw a slider. And so he just kind of just shows me barely, and I throw it. And I would say for like the first time ever doing it, I felt pretty good. And coach was impressed. And so our head coach came over and was like, hey, throw it again. So I threw like 10 or 15 pitches. And they were like, yeah, what do you think about this? Because we think, I mean, you're looking good, and I think it's just something we could do, and you could have a lot of success with. And so I was like, yeah, I'm up for it. So that's kind of how it got started, kind of jokingly, but it worked out.
Well, that's awesome. So let's go into, let's roll into your senior year coming up. You guys are back. You're back at school, and you're going to be, if you haven't started already, you're starting practice soon, and your season kicks off here shortly. What's the season going to look like for you guys, and what do you think your role is going to be this year?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season. We start January 25th, I think, is our opening day. We go down to Rockland, California, and play. It'll be a good season. So let's see, last year, I didn't get tons of innings, but I was more of the kind of a mid inning relief, 1 or 2 innings, or kind of getting out of a jam or whatever, 2 out pitcher. But this year it's going to be about the same. He'll look about the same. Probably it was a good combination, like a setup guy kind of right before we put in our closer. A lot of just different arm actions, different arm angles. So mine provides kind of a funky one into the mix. And so that's what it's going to be like this year. I'm really looking forward to it. Developing my slider a lot, and that will be huge. Well, as far as our team, we brought in, I think, 11 new guys compared to like 20, 25 last year.
Wow.
So this year it's going to be really good. I think we're the tightest team that I've been on in my 4 years here. We're really close. And last year was kind of, cool, like rebuilding year, I guess, with a lot of new guys. And this year we're really working well with each other, and we saw it in the fall. It was cool to see just teamwork, and we're working well. So I'm super excited. I think we have a good shot at going to Lewiston here
for the World Series
in the fall, or not in the fall, in the summer.
You kind of lead me right into my question in terms of is there? I mean, every game is. I mean, the most important game is the next one on the schedule, I guess, to pull out the cliche. But is there a series you're really looking forward to, or a trip that you're looking forward to? I mean, you say California to start the season, so it's going to be warmer than it is in K-Town right now. But what are you looking forward to in terms of the opponents?
Yeah, always. I always look forward to Lewiston, going to Lewiston, playing LC State.
Oh yeah.
It's brutal. It can be brutal sometimes, like weather-wise even, but just, they're solid, and I'm always up for competition. I love challenges, and so bigger the challenge, I want to take that head on. And so that's a series all of us, not just me, but all of us, our entire team, we crave, and so we're really looking forward to that series, even when they come to Salem. That's going to be good. It'll be really good. So
there's lots of stories to be told about those guys. That's always a fun game to play. Well, Jadon, we certainly appreciate you being on with us. I just pointed out on the wall of our Big Country studio here a picture of Jadon Meador in high school sitting with Coach Hastings and I after you signed your letter of intent, and it's pretty cool to see how far you've gotten to where you're at now.
You know what,
awesome,
Jadon? While you're on the phone here, we've been peppering you with a bunch of questions.
Oh,
Coach Country, Coach Sorensen, talk about some memories with Jadon at the helm back in the day. I mean, any a specific game, a specific maybe scenario or story, even on or off field that
about Jadon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the one thing about Jadon is how his confidence after his 4 years of getting older. And I can't remember where we were at, but I remember telling you that, okay, Jadon, halfway through warming up this inning, I want you to throw this ball halfway up the backstop. And you're like,
oh yeah,
why? Why would I do that? So just do it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it worked or not, but I'm sure it did. And I know we miss having Jadon because he was a dude you could put on the mound and just say, hey, go pitch 7 innings. And he would.
Yeah.
And actually, my second year, I think, I got Coach of the Year for the league we were in.
Right.
The only reason I got that was because Jadon went and shoved it up Warden's you-know-what for 7 innings, and that was the coolest thing. And I love Coach Caballero at Warden. He's a friend of mine. But to see him just carve up Warden that day, that was phenomenal. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. That was fun.
That was awesome.
Hey, maybe when we're off the record and we're all gathered around, I'd love to hear more of those off the record conversations that you can't get in trouble for anymore, Jadon.
Oh yeah, exactly. Totally.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Jadon. Good luck this
Jadon.
season, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Is a new sofa calling your name this new year? Maybe a recliner? Whatever furniture needs replacing, when it comes to furniture upgrades, you can trust the professionals at Fitterers Furniture in Ellensburg. A knowledgeable sales staff, certified interior designers, and 3 floors of quality home furnishings are just some of what you'll get at Fitterers. Fitterers also offers in-house financing, free delivery, and haul away in Central Washington. Fitterers Furniture, quality furniture since 1896.
Fitterers.
All right, it's that time of the week, scoreboard time. What's been happening in our valley, fellas? Let's start with, well, I guess if you're a YouTube watcher, you noticed last week we ended with someone missing from his seat. Where did he go? The Sun Dome. Look.
That's right. That's right.
You went down and watched Ellensburg play Sela. Didn't work out for Ellensburg that night, but kind of looked like they had a 6th man on the court. We can say that. We're not on the teams.
Yeah, you're not a coach. Give
the
their
refs.
opinion.
The refs, yeah. Sela took 31 I think they're pretty sure that was my lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Free throw after free. Yeah, man, there's a lot of free throws.
Yeah,
a lot.
Ellensburg attempts just 6 free throws compared to Silas 31.
And that was really the difference maker for sure. I mean, you take 31 free throws compared to someone's 6. It's hard to.
When the final score is 60-48.
Yeah, I mean, even the fourth quarter, Ellensburg they were fighting back. I mean, they were down. I think they were down more than 20 at one point, but they kind of came back. We're down 11 or 12. And then they just got, and then Sela goes to the line and they make shot. They keep, but yeah, 6-31 is kind of dramatic. But more, I mean, it was Noah Pepper. He was the MVP of the league last year as a sophomore. I think he had 29 points in the game, but he had 14, 15 from the line.
Wow,
he was at the line all night. But
so
that's how the game went.
They had the lead there for a little bit.
Yeah, so after the first quarter, they went on a 7-0 run. I think Silas just scored before the end of the first quarter, so Ellensburg had a lead. And then just from there, Sela went on an 18-1 run.
That's tough.
And that's tough to. And then the rest of the game, they're trying to kind of fight back from that. But
what did
a short recap.
The next night they played
Lakewood.
Then how'd that? They didn't win that one either.
They lost by 20, I believe. I don't know. I didn't know much about Lakewood.
I don't know how they're going to finish this year, but I think this team's building to be a pretty darn dominant one the next couple of years.
Think so?
They're young, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But and they were without their best, not best player, but a sophomore that's a pretty big part of their team in JT Fens.
Yeah.
I think he just had a flu or a cold or something. Shoot. But yeah. So
JT Fens.
And then
familiar name.
Yeah.
His dad really big in the agriculture community.
Is he?
He was an egg salesman or farm salesman for John Deere, and now he works for Wardrew. So,
yeah.
I know you're listening, Brian. So, hello. How are you? We talked about last week out east, Kittitas, the Holiday Hoops tournament.
That's right.
That's the name of it. But Kittitas and Kittitas were both dominant or showing up there, and looks like the girls. Well, they defeated Kittitas that first night. We had that last week.
What's that?
The Cleon girls beating Kittitas in the
first game.
Yep.
First game.
The first game, and then the boys lost to Morton White Pass. That was a
Woodland.
What's that?
They lost to Woodland on Friday. The boys did.
Boys lost to Morton White Pass, actually.
Kittitas boys.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was saying Cleon boys lost to Woodland.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
We're saying the same thing.
Jeez.
Just different teams.
I'm already, I'm still in, I guess I'm still distracted from New Year's Eve
Side note,
festivities.
It's Thursday, but doesn't it feel like Monday to everybody?
That's right. All right.
It feels like Monday.
I have Monday brain on me, but I was happy both the Kittitas boys and girls were able to bounce back. Unfortunately for local fans, somebody had to lose when it was Kittitas and Cleellum. So Cleellum got the loss there to Kittitas on Saturday. But I would say this. We were talking about it at the break. The improvement of the Cleellum Warrior team over the last couple of years has been really nice to see. And so, I thought their inside play was pretty darn good. So that's gonna help them out. But Kittitas got the W, and the Kittitas girls also taking on Highland. They got the win as well.
They got a big
I think
win.
it was 47-46 if I'm correct. I don't have that in front of me, but
45-44.
Pardon me. Well,
That's
so
right.
45-44, and so that's good. That's their second 1-point win, if I'm correct, and so that's good momentum.
That Kittitas boys, Cleon boys game, and I wrote on the Facebook, that gave us a pretty good preview for what's to come. Rumor is Cleon might be coming down to the 2B league and be in Kittitas' league.
Yeah.
And I don't see, I see that being a great matchup. I see that being a great rivalry. I mean, why not? Your cross-county rivalry. Both games, every time we've played those teams, there have always been a competitive game.
Yeah.
I got thrown out of the Cleon game back in high school. It was a pretty proud moment.
Wow.
That's another time, but I mean,
playing.
Wow. Yeah, Phantom.
You've counted 2 games you've been thrown out of.
Only been 2 games of my life.
Is there more?
No, just 2. One coaching and one playing basketball. Good news is that same game, Luke Leeton hit like 8 free throws in a row to beat Cleveland.
Luke Leeton, a good talent.
That was a great basketball player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so like for Kittitas, Justin Hudson had 28 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 5 steals. Jamison Walters, double-double with 13 points and 10 rebounds. Cody Van Dorn and Blake Gatlin each scored 12. Cleellum Griffin Bader scored 20 points with 8 boards. Jake Kelly tallied 13 points with a Sterling. That's a good word there, Luke.
Yeah.
20 rebounds and 5 steals. And Jet Favero,
yeah.
that's like right?
Yeah.
Scored 15 points, and Luke Chafin added 10. And it was back and forth the entire game. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to watch.
It was a good game. It was a lot of fun to watch, and
it's too bad that game wasn't played on like a 7 o'clock midweek, just packed full of people in that gym.
Right.
That's what that game should have been watched in front of.
Yeah. And I talked to Eric Terrell for the game. I went to the Cleveland girls to see if Grace Terrell would actually surpass 1,000 career points. She's 8 short, so she should get it this Saturday. But I talked to her dad a little bit, and he expected it to be a really competitive game with his team and the Kittitas boys.
Yeah,
it looks like it was. So
yeah. Are they going to match up again this season?
I don't think so.
Dang it.
No, maybe next year.
Get it, well, twice next year if that's the case.
Oh yeah,
home and away. I'd like to go up there, get some pizza up there at the Village Pizza, and
O's,
or a burger at the Brick. Depends on the kid guys.
Do it.
Great stuff. I think that kind of wraps up our scoreboard for the week, guys.
It's been a light. This part of the season is pretty low key.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't really practice during Christmas Eve and Christmas Day or New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but man, they're going at it for the rest of January.
You know, this as a coach, and I relate this to baseball, but it's for every sport. If we're in a lull right now, like that, the snap of a finger, the season's going to be over with.
Yep.
And we got a lot going on, a lot of games we played the next 2 months. And make sure you get out and watch some of these guys, especially this. He said Cleveland goes, where do they play this Saturday?
They play at home.
Saturday. Yep. And get out there and see Grace Terrell beat that 1,000 career point mark. And
that's cool. Definitely.
A lot of fun. And we're going to be back with a fun segment.
That's right.
I think we decided on what's on our mind again with Luke.
With Luke this time.
Can I leave this time? No.
Lock the door.
Nope.
Can't get out. Paisley the guard dog's out back. Can't leave. So we'll be right back. We're going to throw a McGregor message on here. Just because they're a great sponsor. We're going to get rodeo here in a couple weeks, and we'll be right back with some wood or what's on our mind.
Access to moisture is arguably the #1 factor limiting yields in our region. Hi, I'm Kat Slois, the Director of Research for the McGregor Company. Phosphorus is critical in developing deep fibrous roots, but largely ties up before ever reaching your plant. Imstruct by McGregor's protects and maximizes your phosphorus investment by keeping it more plant available longer. Imstruct improves nutrient efficiency, establishes larger roots earlier, and ultimately increases access to soil moisture. The results of Imstruct are striking, exclusively at McGregor's.
Well, we're back.
We are back
with a very informative part and segment. What's on our mind this week, fellas? I want to start.
Okay.
Last week we talked about the calendar, and our reveal is Wade LeBlanc, Mariners calendar for the month of January.
Interesting choice, right?
Yeah, I don't understand that one, but okay. At least it's not somebody bad, I guess. I don't know.
Paxton.
He's pretty bad, though.
That would have been bad
Yankees.
to
the future Yankee.
Put Big Maple on there.
I mean, does this calendar even gonna have?
Oh, don't ruin it.
Is that Guillermo?
No, he ruined it next month.
Oh God,
some guy.
Some rant. I mean, there's no way all 12 of those guys will be on the team.
No, someone will be gone. Good question. I think he's back. Or did we get rid of him?
I think they signed him.
Yeah, I think so too. Huh. John, what's on your mind?
On my mind is, it's always going to be rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it in next week's podcast, but the Columbia River Circuit Finals there at the friendly but tight confines of the Yakima Valley Sundome.
It's a lot of fun watching the rodeo there.
It is a lot of fun, but man, so our a barrel race in Ellensburg is 17 plus seconds, unless you're going to break the arena record with 1691. But a barrel race in the Sundome is 12 seconds, and the horses, it's so tight that the horses clearly can't get up to full speed. like they would in an Ellensburg huge arena like that. So that's kind of on my mind, is to see how ropers and riders and barrel racers do.
That's awesome.
Luke, so what's
on your mind?
That I have not passed that driveway
in
like a month.
That's good.
We wondered, did you find the
YouTube
Sunday?
listeners, the window here?
It is the hardest driveway to find.
I'm just going to point out, I put out a Kittitas Athletics sign out.
I saw it. I salute it every time.
Dang right.
It didn't work.
And Luke sees it at 65 miles an hour, guess, or 50 miles an hour at least. Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Luke. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Luke that misses it. Everybody misses that driveway, unless you're.
But every guest we've had. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we know who our guest is because they usually hit the brake lights about right there and then come back.
That's the only way you can experience the country's house, is if you pass it first.
Yeah,
right.
That's the only way you get the true experience.
That's right. You get to see everything. The last few weeks, you got to see Clark Griswold remake.
Yeah. So when do you take that? That's another thing on my mind. When do you take the lights down?
Well, they would have came down 2 days ago, but it's been cold, and I don't do that when it's windy, cold, or raining.
So definitely not today, Thursday the 2nd.
No, it's miserable
all of the above.
Holy cow! It's raining now, and it looked like it might have become snow. I don't know when. This weekend probably. The Christmas tree got burnt New Year's Eve, which if you haven't done that, that's fun. It makes me wonder why they like Christmas trees in houses, because how fast they go up in flames.
Ours has not been burned yet, but we will have a end of the Christmas break bonfire at our house with my girls. And the bigger the fire, I'm not going to confirm or deny any rumors that I'm kind of stupid when it comes to fire. So
it's okay.
Yeah,
I love doing that.
I'm safe. I will say that I'm safe, but I do enjoy a big bonfire, and my girls do too.
There's not more. If you could do it next to a river or something.
Another thing that's on my mind. So we were talking about this on earlier in the podcast is LSU, Oklahoma,
right,
and then Clemson and Ohio State, and how one game was a blowout and the other game was just great. Now, and what was that? That was on the 28th, I think it was.
That was last Saturday.
So now we got to wait till the 13th. So the weird way the calendar played out, and so basically we have to wait 2 weeks between the semifinals and finals, and I don't like that.
I don't like it either. There's no reason why they can't play it this coming Monday.
That's a long. So I guess the calendar mixed it up, and the NFL playoffs. I guess it was just a weird year for college football playoffs. So we got to wait till the 13th to watch that play out.
I absolutely love college football, and that's I love the fall because I don't have to work as much as fall time, for farming. But it's like right now I'm going through this little depression stage. Like college football's gone, but then 2 weeks from now I'm like, oh hey, we got a college football game.
Yep.
And so it prolongs it a little bit. I guess it spreads the season out more. But why can't you follow in that game that we got to watch with the Clemson thriller at the end? That carry the momentum. Play it this Monday, man.
Yep.
I will say, if it works out in the seeding that the Seahawks have to go to New Orleans, if someone wants to pay for that trip, because I believe it's going to be a New Orleans Seahawks game on Sunday, followed by a national championship game the next day in the same
next
stadium.
day. Wow.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That's a logistical nightmare.
So if anybody wants to sponsor us to go there, have some.
We'll record from there.
We will podcast twice.
Everybody has a price, and I can be paid off, definitely.
We will wear whatever billboard you want.
Yeah.
And we will go there and do that.
What else is on my mind? Anybody do a New Year's resolution that you've already broken?
Not yet. I'm on day 2, though. I haven't done it yet, my resolution. So
I haven't really said anything tangible for myself. So
I told myself I'm going to go, how many days in this month? 30, 31, whatever it is. I'm going to go that many days a row of actually getting on the treadmill.
Okay.
And last night about 8 o'clock, I was like, oh, crap, I better get out there and do that. Yeah. So we'll see how that lasts.
Yeah.
Just to kind of what's on my mind and to kind of play off of what we were talking about a little bit on Facebook and teased it a little bit last week was sports resolutions.
Yes.
New Year's resolutions. So let's get away from the losing weight and saving money classic ones. Any sports resolutions? I'll start. Mm-hmm. I always try to get a new rodeo under my belt every year. Last year, I didn't get to a new rodeo. I went to a few old favorites. I will say Luke got to a rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
Cle Elum Roundup.
Nice.
I believe it was your first rodeo.
It was, yeah.
Did a bang up job on photos as well. And
maybe.
So that would be a couple of resolutions that I had. Rodeo oriented is to get back to the NFR, and that will be a podcast ready kind of NFR for me.
I'm going.
Let's
In
go.
my mind, we're going.
Let's go. And then I'd like to get back to a new. Maybe get back to the St. Paul or Malala rodeos. Those are classic ones during the 4th of July.
Cool. We're going to test out if my wife's listening, because I don't know if she's in the lobby right now. But piggybacking off that, I want to go to the Calgary Stampede. And I've been trying to figure out a way to get our passports without her knowing why I want to get them, so I can be like, hey, let's go, if we have a free weekend, and get up there. I feel like that'd be a fun rodeo to go to.
Well, like I said off the air, my daughters are ready to babysit for you at any time.
Absolutely.
So you got childcare lined
go.
up. You got
Let's
childcare
go.
lined up.
Anything else in your mind, Luke? Just simple.
I want to be your second-hand man when it comes to the Ellensburg Rodeo next
Okay.
year. I want to.
It'll be
That's
fun.
my sports resolution.
Yeah.
I want to learn. I want to cover some good.
Tell you what, my first year reporting, I had not a clue what I was doing in Labor Day 2000, and it showed in my writing. But
feature stories. I'll do features.
Do features?
Give me a good feature, and I'll do it.
What is a good feature? We'll talk about it. There's so many storylines that happens at a rodeo, and of course I'm biased just because I'm such a rodeo nutcase. But I mean, the amount of stories that don't get told, at least on a widespread spectrum, like a newspaper or an online story would be. There's just so many things. Just I mean, shoot, we've done stories on dirt in the arena. You know, just the improvement. So that's how.
I have a story idea.
That's how fanatical I can get.
A great idea for you to write.
I'm all ears.
About a great Matt Webb Cowboy Cross event and the story on Luke Olson riding his first bull.
You know what?
Oh my gosh.
That could be. I mean, that story's going to write itself.
I think that'd be if that happens, it'll be awesome.
I need a sponsor. This is $100 to buy in, right?
No, for the bucket list bull ride, the only thing you need is to pretty much sign your life away.
Literally.
And no truth to the rumor that you actually use an ink with bull rider's blood. No, it's just a regular blue fountain pen. And having as a retired bull rider myself, and I retired in the arena.
Yep.
After my second, we'll call it successful ride. And so somebody's got to take over.
Yeah. I guess it's got to continue.
It does.
What's that? It's got to continue.
And then after, it's going to be Eric.
We can just we'll decide.
Would you ever do it?
I'll think about it.
I'm going to go into the...
I have a very labor-friendly job, and I got to be healthy.
Yeah.
But I'll think about it. I'd do it.
Yeah.
I would, I'll do it.
Is there a proper way to fall?
Yeah.
Well,
Away
if
from the
you
bull.
look at my Facebook page, you can see the improper way to fall,
Yeah.
which
I'll
is
just study
lead
that.
with your shoulder. Still a little bit sore.
But that's why we got people at Canyon View Physical Therapy. It's fine.
That's
We'll
right.
Fix us right up.
Yeah. What else is on my mind? You know what? Keeping with rodeo, on the 25th, that's Saturday, is the Ellensburg Rodeo Royal Court Coronation.
Oh.
And I've been the MC of that for a couple of times, and I'll be the MC again this year. And that's really fun. There's 5 ladies who are going for the crown. So 3 spots for 5 ladies. And so unfortunately, it's going to be emotional for all 5 of them. But it's going to be a wide spectrum of emotions when the 2 princesses and the queen is announced, and then of course the 2 ladies who will be the runners up, I guess you could say. But that's on the 25th, and it's a really fun event. One is it allows the rodeo board to kind of just talk about the improvements that happened over the previous year and what to expect in the coming year. And I know one of our
There goes the pin.
One of our
if you didn't see that, go to youtube.com. Search Kittitas Valley Sports Talk.
Knocked over a wonderful display here. But we're going to talk to Carrie Clift here shortly, sometime soon here. in the month, and we'll talk about that too. But it's a fun event.
Yeah.
It's a fun event. I don't know if I'm worth the price of admission, but
100%
the food is great. The jokes are great, and the ladies just do an incredible job representing themselves and representing the rodeo.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, is that all that's on your guys' mind? That's it?
Yeah.
Wrapping it up?
We're wrapping it up.
I got one thing to wrap up. What's on my mind before we go? And it was the interview we did today with Jadon.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes coaches get flack for playing time or they don't care or whatnot. But I think that what's on my mind is how cool. I'm going on 6 years now as the head coach of Kittitas. And I know that I've talked to Todd Gibson about this and other coaches in the Valley that about how special it is that, you know, wins and losses and getting to, you know, your seasons and whatnot. That's all great and dandy and whatnot in the state championships. But what's really cool is getting to have guys like Jadon that I've been fortunate, you know, Eli and all. There's a bunch of alumni that I keep in touch with. Those two come to mind because they both just got engaged. Their lives are carrying on. And that knowing that hopefully that within their 4 years, Jadon 5 years of playing baseball for Kittitas, that we have given them some sort of a life lesson in how to succeed. I think Todd's life lessons have shown up in Xander in his interview last week and how to compete. And my mind is on that. It's bigger than sports and that we care about these athletes and guys that truly buy into our programs, that they know that we have their back because they've had ours growing up. So.
There's nothing I can do to top that, so that's a good way to end what's on your mind. Yeah.
Well, I got myself stuck. I don't know where to go from there. Get on our Facebook, get on our Twitter, get Instagram, catch us on YouTube, and all the episodes are up there. And you can catch us on Anchor app or go to Apple iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcasts.
There's no excuse. We are everywhere.
Yes, we are.
We're like Starbucks in Seattle. You can't get away from us.
Go away.
Yeah.
And we will be doing a karaoke contest here soon. Live, maybe in the beer garden at the rodeo. We don't know yet. Yeah. So thank you again for listening to another episode, and we look forward to next week. And be good to people out there.
That's right.
Take care.